Hi all. So today I will start with a simple story of a child. एक बच्चा था, उसकी कहानी है। लगभग 7 साल उसकी उम्र थी। बचपन से ही जब से वो स्कूल जाने लगा था, उसका पढ़ाई पढ़ाई में इतना वो स्ट्रांग नहीं था। अगर टीचर ब्लैक बोर्ड पे कुछ लिखती थी तो वो उसको नोट नहीं करता था, बस देखता रहता था। पूछता था ये क्यों हो रहा है, ये क्या हो रहा है। और इस चीज़ से टीचर्स बहुत परेशान थे। स्कूल में भी, क्लासेस में भी वो इतना अच्छा नहीं कर पा रहा था। नंबर भी उसके अच्छे नहीं आ रहे थे इन टेस्ट। तो एक दिन क्या हुआ, एक टीचर ने या प्रिंसिपल ने, हम बोलें, एक लेटर लिखा और उसको बोला कि अपनी मम्मी को जाके देना। और उसकी मम्मी ने वो लेटर देखा और उसकी मम्मी के आंखों में आंसू आ गए। वो ऐसे रोने लगी कि पता नहीं क्या लिखा हो, पर वह अंदर ही अंदर रो रही थी। जब तक उसका बेटा उसे नहीं देख रहा था तब तक ही बस वो रोई। जैसे ही उसके बेटे ने उसकी तरफ देखा और पूछा कि मम्मा इसमें क्या लिखा है, उसने बोला कि इसमें लिखा है बेटा कि तुम्हारा बेटा बहुत जीनियस है, बहुत बड़ा जीनियस है, और हमारे टीचर्स इतने अच्छे नहीं हैं कि उसे सिखा सकें, इसे पढ़ा सकें। तो आज इसे स्कूल से निकाला जाता है। या फिर ऐसे बोले कि स्कूल इसको नहीं पढ़ा सकता, क्या आप इसे घर पे पढ़ा सकते हैं प्लीज़। ऐसे बोला उसकी मम्मी ने उसको। उस बच्चे ने इस चीज़ से बहुत कॉन्फिडेंस आया उसके अंदर, उसको लगा कि वो बहुत बड़ा जीनियस है। ये उसके सबकॉन्शियस माइंड में बात बैठ गई और वो डेली अपने आप से बोलने लगा कि वो इतना बड़ा जीनियस है, इतना अच्छा है कि स्कूल के टीचर भी उसको नहीं पढ़ा पाए। तो उसकी मम्मी ने क्या किया, उसको डेली घर पे ही पढ़ाया। डेली पढ़ाया, लिखाया, सारी चीज़ें समझाई। और वही बच्चा बड़ा होके थॉमस एडिसन बना, जिसने बल्ब का आविष्कार किया। उसकी मम्मी के गुजर जाने के कुछ सालों बाद उसने अपनी मम्मी के क्लोजेट यानी कि कबर्ड में देख रहा था, अलमीरा में देख रहा था। ही फाउंड द सेम लेटर। पहली बार उसे पढ़ रहा था। उसने उसे देखा, पढ़ा और खोला। देन ही रेड कि उसमें एग्जैक्टली क्या लिखा था। उसमें ऐसे वर्ड्स लिखे थे जो अगर वो बचपन में सुनता तो जो आज बना है वो नहीं बन पाता। उसमें लिखा था कि आपका बेटा काफ़ी स्लो लर्नर है, एडल्ट है, ADDLED, एडल्ट। दैट जनरली मीन्स कि स्लो माइंडेड है, ब्राइट नहीं है बेसिकली। तो उसकी मम्मी ने क्या किया था उस टाइम पे, जो मैसेज था एक्चुअल उसको चेंज करके इस तरह से उसके सबकॉन्शियस माइंड में बिठा दिया कि वो उसको पॉजिटिवली ले। और थ्रू आउट हिज लाइफ ही ही केप्ट इट इन हिज माइंड कि वो इतना बड़ा जीनियस है, कि वो दुनिया से अलग है, वो कुछ बड़ा कर सकता है। तो जो हम अपने दिमाग से बातें करते हैं, अपने सबकॉन्शियस माइंड से बातें करते हैं, वो कितनी ज़रूरी होती हैं हमें इंसान बनाने के लिए, हमें एक बेहतर इंसान बनाने के लिए। So you have to keep in mind what you speak, what you say to yourself, how you identify yourself. अगर वो खुद को आइडेंटिफाई करता कि वो स्लो लर्नर है, धीरे चीज़ें समझता है, तो शायद ऐसा ही होता उसके साथ, और वो चीज़ें धीरे समझता और नए आविष्कार नहीं करता। उसकी मम्मी ने उसको अप्रिशिएट किया कि तुम इतने क्वेश्चन करते हो, दैट इज़ वेरी गुड पॉइंट। तो यही क्वेश्चन कर करके कि ये क्यों नहीं हो सकता, वो क्यों नहीं हो सकता, ये कैसे हो सकता है, उसने बल्ब का आविष्कार कर दिया। So it becomes very important what you are communicating with your mind. Okay, end of the story. Moving on to today's practice session. My first word is depth. So water has depth in it. However deep water can go, there are seas, there are lakes, but the depth of the seas are very dangerous. Very good example of this is Titanic ship that drawn down into the sea when it tumbled upon a big iceberg. So the sea is very depth, but sometimes the same depth can be found in words, in sentences that we use, in the way we communicate. If you speak with depth in your content that you are saying, people will relate with it. People will be astonished by the fact or by the way you are speaking. So there is a way of communicating in each and every line that you speak. The depth depends on your understanding of the subject and next person's understanding as well. Okay, next word is bird. Birds can fly. What if humans can fly too? How would it look like? Let's say nowadays we are walking and let's go for a walk. Then we would be saying, if we could fly, let's go for a fly, let's go for a ride maybe. That what we would say. But the very difficult point would be for companies which are into two-wheelers or four-wheelers, because flying would have been easier. But yeah, of course there would be another companies established in that case. Maybe it would be needed to travel to far distances. So to solve that problem, companies might invent things in a way, because problem creates solution. A current problem was related to this thing, walking, so they created two-wheelers at cheap prices. Now if we could fly, they would be wanting to create something that could fly, a flyer for a family, like 4 people flyer or maybe flying car. Next word is camera. Camera does a very important role of capturing the moments, capturing few moments which can make you remember memories. For example, your mother and father got married and they have album of their marriage in their house. When you go and see those pictures, you can see it in their eyes how they felt at the time of marriage. They would remember which guest came late, they would remember who gifted them what, they would remember each and every detail of it, each and every feeling that they had at that time. So that has to be kept in mind, that camera is very useful in that case. Sometimes it is not good as well. When you are living in the moment, but someone takes out the phone and started clicking the pictures, the moment gets spoiled. Next word is hearing. You're hearing me, you're listening to me right now, and you are maybe probably sitting in your home and seeing this video for the first time and practicing it with me, or maybe you are just simply saying it for the sake of learning, for the sake of seeing how impromptu actually works, or maybe you would be here to listen to my story, but eventually you got so interested in the further activities in this video that you stayed in this video and you're listening to this right now. Thank you so much for listening. So when we hear people, there is a listening ability that is there. One should listen very carefully. One should show enthusiasm while listening. One should match the tone and expressions of the person who is speaking to them while listening to them. So all these things has to be kept in mind. So you can do mirror and pacing thing. Classroom. Classroom is where students sit and they listen to the teachers explaining things to them, explaining concepts to them. So classroom is very important. Being virtually taught, I have realized that it misses out something, that it doesn't have your friend sitting next to you. There is no competition when you are studying virtually in most of the cases, as you would be listening to the teacher directly and there is no one who is competing with you, right? So it becomes the responsibility of the teacher who is teaching online that there is proper atmosphere for the competition as well, so that students can bring more out of their studies. Having said that, we can move on to the next word, that is advertising. For any business, advertising is very important. For example, business want to launch a product. To generate its awareness, they have to advertise it publicly. From recent example in our company, there was one brand, I am forgetting its name. So it came onto the company and created a kiosk over there, and what they were doing is simply collecting customer data, their phone number, email id, and then asking for a code to provide them with the sample of their product, and that sample would have cost them around 150 or 180 rupees, I guess, and its MRP was around 400. I am just assuming all these numbers. So what they're doing there is they are marketing their product, they are advertising their product in small public. There were around 1000 or 115 1500 people who took that product and enjoyed it. Next word is seen. So what happens is, seen is something which you are seeing anywhere. Let's say you have gone for a walk. So what are the different scenes that you see? You could see a dog barking at another dog. You could see a motorcycle guy is, driving it a little faster, which is not normal speed. So you would say that please God save him while watching him. Well, what other things you could see when you are walking? You could see a showroom. You could see a family walking together in the evening. You could see two friends walking or running with each other. You could see a couple of children playing around with their football and dirty clothes and everything, and their mom is shouting on them that please don't make your clothes dirty, it becomes difficult to wash them. Next word is emotion. So emotional question is something which I have been studying nowadays. EQ, that is known as EQ. It is very different from intelligent question. So emotional question, you might be thinking if someone is not emotional at all and he is more practical, like following rules and regulation. So it is someone who is emotional quotient is very high. Someone whose emotional quotient or EQ, we would notify it in that way, is very high. But that is not the case. If a person is only looking at logical things and forgetting emotions altogether, his EQ is very low. On the other hand, if a person takes care of only emotions and forget what the actual facts are saying, what the actual rules and regulations require, his EQ is also very low. So there has to be a balance between both for making your EQ very high. Teacher. Teacher is someone who can change anyone's life. For me, my mathematician teacher, Mr. Abhay Singh, has been someone who has changed my entire life. I was a student who couldn't read properly, who couldn't study properly, who used to depend on their seniors sitting next to them for, telling them answers. So that is there. But when I joined mathematician tuition classes with that guy, he changed the whole perspective of studies for me. He taught me how actually the study has to be done. So having a good teacher in your life is a blessing. Okay, moving on to the next word, definition. Definition is something which helps us to understand a particular word or particular new thing that we have seen in our life. For example, for a child who is seeing the world for the first time, he would want to know definition of a tree, he would want to know definition of a car, why is it moving, he would want to know what is happening around him. So what parents do is they answer these silly questions in very interesting way that child remembers it, and child does remember it, mind it. So child remembers everything. So it is very important that we define things very properly to them. Also, definition has to be precise and it should not depict any other meaning that is there of that word. We have to make sure that we are defining things in the context that is used. A single word can have different definition when used differently. So that has to be kept in mind. The tenses have to be kept in mind while we are defining a verb or any adjective. Okay. I think that is all for today.